Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how you can add text to a page. So what you can do is you can grab the type tool here. When you grab that type tool, you need to then click out and drag out a text area. So I've just dragged out a text area, and then you can just type directly into that if you want to. You can copy and paste text from another document, say for example a Word document or a text file that you've got open, or you could just put in here some placeholder text, which would just be lorem ipsum, and you can do that by going to the type menu at the top here and then going to fill with placeholder text. That then adds this kind of lorem ipsum sort of, this is Latin text, just put in here as dummy text until you find your original text to put in here. So there goes our text into here. You can grab the corners. So I've just gone back to my black selection tool here. You can grab the corners and you can resize that text area. Now when you do resize the text area, you're not actually resizing the text, you're just resizing the area that it is occupying. And that means there's lots of text in here which is not being displayed at the moment because the text area is not big enough to display all of the text that we had in our original box. And we know that there's not enough area for that text to show, and that we've got some text which is hidden because we've got this little red plus symbol here. That indicates that there is more text to be displayed. We've also got down the bottom here an error message as well. So we know that we have an error on the page, and that is not all of our text is displaying. So if you were to preview this page by pressing W on your keyboard, what you'd get to see here is, let's just have a look at that. Press W, you get to see here, you can't tell in preview mode that you had extra text here sort of that is missing. So I'm just going to press W to go back into my normal mode that we've got here. Now what you can do is, if I was to click on that and drag that out again across the page, I could split this text up into columns. So over here I've got the option to add it into columns. So that's 1, 2, 3 columns, and you can increase the gutter, that's the space between the columns here. So that text is now in 3 columns, and it wraps from one column into the next and into the third. And I can show you that by sort of dragging it out. So as I drag out the text area, you'll see that the amount of text changes and flows through from one column to the next column. So that's just by adding in, sort of splitting your text block up into columns can be done here. So that's a nice quick way to put in a big block of text and then decide, actually I'm going to split it up into columns. I'm just going to put that back down to 1, so we just got it in one big column. Another way that you could do that is, if I just make this a little bit smaller, is that I could go to layout and then come down to margins and columns, and this takes you back to some of the page properties that you set up right at the beginning when you created this document. Here I can increase the number of columns in my document. Remember, these are tools that we use to help us lay out content on the page, and I'm just going to increase the gutter to 5 mil. Now what I can do is I can get my text frame area and I can just make it fit to the width of one of my columns. I can just stretch it down a bit, and now what you can do is you can click on the little red plus here, and when you do with your mouse, it loads your cursor with the remaining text that is not visible at the moment, and then you can draw out another text frame, and that text will flow through from this one into this one. I've still got some text left over, so I'm just going to click and draw out another area. There we go, and there's my text. And what you'll see is that if I get my type tool and I click in here and I do a few returns, that the text flows through these different text frames that I've created. So these text frames have become linked, and as I resize one, the text will flow through. If I keep resizing, it's going to flow through. If I resize this one, it will flow through, and all of the columns are linked together in that respect with the text that's going through them. So that's different ways that you can add text onto your page. You can add it in one big block and then split that up into columns, or you can create your columns first and then create your text frames and link your text frames so that you have text flow going through them.